Hello, I am Dr. Samuel Cross, and I want to welcome you to a conversation that might just change the way you see the world after the sun goes down. Most people walk into my office and tell me they are eating bags of carrots because they want to drive better at night or see more clearly in a dark room. I always have to tell them that while carrots are a healthy snack, they are not the secret weapon for night vision that everyone thinks they are. We have been told a story for decades that simply is not the whole truth. And today, I am going to break down the real science of how your eyes work in low light. To truly achieve 20/20 night vision, you need to understand that your eyes are like high-performance cameras that require very specific types of fuel to function correctly. If you give your eyes the wrong fuel or not enough of the right kind, your vision will naturally struggle when the lights get low. We are going to look at 5 specific foods that are backed by massive amounts of research and proven results from authority sites like the National Eye Institute and major universities. My goal today is to give you a clear and easy-to-understand guide that skips the complex medical jargon so you can take action immediately. Before we get into the list of foods, we must address the carrot myth because it helps us understand what your eyes actually need. During World War II, the British Royal Air Force had a new secret radar technology that allowed their pilots to find enemy planes in the dark. To keep this technology a secret, they spread a rumor that their pilots were eating huge amounts of carrots, which gave them amazing night vision. This story was so successful that the public started growing carrots in their own gardens to help them see during blackouts. The truth is that carrots contain beta-carotene, which the body turns into vitamin A, and while vitamin A is necessary, once you have enough of it, eating more carrots will not give you superpowers. If you want to actually improve your vision beyond the baseline, you have to look at other nutrients that act like internal filters and high-speed chargers for your retinal cells. Your eyes have 2 main types of sensors, which are called rods and cones. The cones are located in the center of your eye, and they help you see bright colors and sharp details during the day. The rods are located mostly around the edges, and they are incredibly sensitive to light, which makes them the stars of the show for night vision. Inside these rods is a very special purple pigment called rhodopsin. When a tiny bit of light hits your eye at night, this rhodopsin breaks down and sends a signal to your brain that says you are seeing something. Your eye then has to rebuild that rhodopsin as fast as possible so you can see the next thing. If your body does not have the right nutrients, this rebuilding process slows down, and that is when you experience night blindness or struggle with glare from oncoming headlights. The first food on our list is actually a group of dark leafy greens, which include spinach and kale. These greens are packed with 2 very powerful nutrients called lutein and zeaxanthin. Research from the National Eye Institute in a study known as the Age-Related Eye Disease Study 2 proved that these 2 nutrients are the only ones that actually live inside your macula. You can think of lutein and zeaxanthin as a pair of internal sunglasses that sit right on your retina. Their job is to filter out blue light and protect your light-sensing cells from being damaged by bright flashes. A study published in the Journal of Investigative Ophthalmology and Visual Science found that people who ate more of these leafy greens had a much higher macular pigment density. This is important because a thicker pigment layer acts like a shield that reduces the scattering of light inside your eye. When you are driving at night and a car with bright LED lights comes toward you, that light usually scatters and creates a fog-like effect in your vision. If you have enough lutein and zeaxanthin from spinach and kale, your eyes can absorb that glare and recover much faster. I recommend that you do not just eat these greens raw because your body has a hard time absorbing the nutrients from raw leaves. To get the most value for your night vision, you should lightly cook your spinach or kale and always eat it with a small amount of healthy fat like olive oil or avocado. The research shows that lutein and zeaxanthin are fat-soluble, which means they need fat to travel from your stomach into your bloodstream and eventually to your eyes. Another interesting piece of research from the University of Georgia showed that subjects who increased their intake of these greens saw a significant improvement in their contrast sensitivity. Contrast sensitivity is your ability to see an object that is almost the same color as its background, such as a gray deer standing on a gray road at dusk. When you improve this specific part of your vision, you feel much more confident and safe while moving around in low light. The second food that is essential for 20/20 night vision is fatty fish, such as salmon, mackerel, and sardines. Your retina is made up of a very high concentration of fats, and one specific type of fat called DHA is the most important of all. A report from Harvard Health Publishing explains that DHA is a structural component of the cell membranes in your eyes. If your cell membranes are healthy and fluid, the electrical signals from the light hitting your eye can travel to your brain at lightning speed. If you do not have enough omega-3 fatty acids, your cell membranes become stiff and the signals get bogged down, which results in blurry or slow vision in the dark. There is also a very important study published in the Journal of Clinical Interventions in Aging, which found that omega-3 fats help prevent dry eye syndrome. This is relevant to night vision because a dry eye has an uneven surface, which causes light to bend incorrectly when it enters the eye. By eating fatty fish twice a week, you are essentially greasing the wheels of your visual system and ensuring that the surface of your eye is smooth and clear. The third food on our list is a very special berry called the bilberry, which is a close relative of the blueberry. Bilberries have been used for centuries in Europe to support eye health, and they are famous for their high levels of anthocyanins. Anthocyanins are the pigments that give the berries their deep purple color, and they are incredibly effective at helping your eyes regenerate rhodopsin. Remember that purple pigment in your rods that we talked about earlier? Research published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry showed that bilberry extract can actually speed up the rate at which your eyes reset after being exposed to bright light. This means that if you are in a dark room and someone turns on a flashlight and then turns it off again, your eyes will adjust back to the darkness much faster if you have plenty of anthocyanins in your system. This is a huge advantage for anyone who works in changing light conditions or enjoys evening walks. Some studies have even suggested that bilberries can improve the blood flow to the tiny capillaries in your eyes. Since your eyes use a massive amount of energy to process light, they need a constant supply of oxygen and nutrients delivered through these small blood vessels. When your blood flow is optimal, your retinas can work harder for longer periods without getting tired. If you cannot find fresh bilberries, you can look for a high-quality extract or even use wild blueberries, which have a similar profile of nutrients. The key is to be consistent because these pigments build up in your tissues over time to provide long-term protection and performance. The fourth food that I want you to focus on is eggs and specifically the egg yolk. For a long time, people were told to avoid eggs, but we now know that they are one of the best things you can eat for your vision. Egg yolks contain lutein and zeaxanthin, just like leafy greens do, but the version found in eggs is much easier for your body to use. This is because the yolk is naturally full of healthy fats, which act as a delivery vehicle for the nutrients. A study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that eating just 1 or 2 eggs a day can significantly raise the levels of lutein in your blood without raising your cholesterol levels. But eggs offer something else that is vital for night vision, and that is zinc. Zinc is a mineral that acts like a transport truck for vitamin A. It takes the vitamin A from your liver and brings it to your retina so it can be used to make the pigments you need to see in the dark. Without enough zinc, your vitamin A just stays in storage and your night vision suffers as a result. Finally, the fifth food on our list is beef liver, which might be surprising to some of you. While I mentioned that carrots have beta-carotene, beef liver contains what we call preformed vitamin A or retinol. This is the exact form of the vitamin that your eyes use immediately. Many people have a hard time converting the nutrients in vegetables into the active form of vitamin A, but beef liver gives it to you directly. According to the World Health Organization, vitamin A deficiency is the leading cause of preventable blindness in the world, and the very first sign of a problem is always night blindness. By including a small amount of liver in your diet once a week, you are providing your eyes with the raw materials they need to keep the surface of the eye moist and the light-sensing cells healthy. I want to talk to you about how to actually put these 5 foods into a daily routine that works for your lifestyle, because knowing what to eat is only half the battle. Many patients ask me if they can just take a multivitamin and call it a day, but the research shows that the complex matrix of whole foods is far superior for retinal absorption. When you eat a piece of wild-caught salmon, you are not just getting DHA, but you are also getting selenium and vitamin D, which both support the overall health of your ocular blood vessels. A study published by the University of Oxford found that the synergistic effect of nutrients in whole foods can improve the bioavailability of lutein by up to 5 times compared to isolated supplements. This is why I always tell people that their dinner plate is the most powerful tool they have for improving their night vision. You should aim to combine these foods whenever possible, such as having your eggs with a side of sautéed spinach in the morning, because the fats in the yolk will immediately help you absorb the lutein in the greens. We also need to discuss the specific timing of these nutrients because your eyes follow a very strict circadian rhythm that dictates how they repair themselves. Your light-sensing cells undergo a process of renewal every single night while you sleep, and they need a steady supply of nutrients to complete this construction work. If you eat your largest eye-healthy meal in the evening, you are providing the building blocks exactly when the retina is ready to use them. Research from the Salk Institute suggests that time-restricted eating and proper nutrient timing can enhance the performance of the photoreceptors in the eye. I recommend that you try to consume your fatty fish or your liver dish during your evening meal so that the omega-3 fats and the retinol can circulate in your blood while your eyes are in their repair phase. This ensures that when you wake up the next morning, your rhodopsin levels are fully replenished and your eyes feel refreshed rather than gritty or tired. Another critical factor that we cannot ignore is the impact of blood sugar on your night vision performance. Many people do not realize that the retina is the most metabolically active tissue in the human body, which means it uses more oxygen and energy per gram than even your brain or your heart. When your blood sugar levels are constantly spiking from processed carbohydrates and sugary snacks, it creates a state of oxidative stress that damages the tiny capillaries that feed your retinas. A report from the American Diabetes Association highlights that even pre-diabetic sugar levels can begin to impair night vision and contrast sensitivity long before any permanent damage is seen on a standard eye exam. This is why I tell my patients that protecting their night vision is just as much about what they avoid as what they eat. You should try to minimize added sugars and refined flours because they act like a slow poison for the delicate structures of the eye. By replacing those processed foods with the 5 foods we discussed, you are essentially switching your eyes from a low-grade fuel to a premium rocket fuel. Let us look deeper into the science of glare recovery because this is the #1 complaint I hear from drivers over the age of 40. When you are driving at night and an oncoming car has those very bright modern headlights, your eyes are hit with a massive amount of high-energy blue light. This light instantly bleaches the rhodopsin in your rods, which causes that whiteout effect where you cannot see the road for a few seconds. A study published in the journal Nutrients found that individuals with higher levels of macular pigment from eating leafy greens and eggs had a glare recovery time that was up to 30% faster than those with low levels. 30% might not sound like much, but at 60 miles per hour, that represents dozens of feet of travel distance where you are essentially driving blind. Improving your diet is not just about seeing better. It is a fundamental safety measure for you and your family. We should also talk about the role of hydration and minerals like magnesium and potassium in maintaining 20/20 night vision. The fluid inside your eye, which is called the aqueous humor, is responsible for maintaining the shape of the eyeball and delivering nutrients to the lens. If you are chronically dehydrated, this fluid can become thicker and less efficient, which leads to fluctuations in your vision clarity throughout the day and night. Furthermore, magnesium is essential for the relaxation of the muscles that control the shape of your lens, which allows you to focus on objects at different distances. If you find that you struggle to shift your focus from the dashboard of your car to the dark road ahead, you might be lacking the minerals that allow those tiny muscles to function smoothly. Pairing your eye-healthy foods with plenty of clean water and mineral-rich sea salt can make a noticeable difference in how quickly your eyes can adapt to different focal lengths in the dark. I want to briefly touch on the concept of digital eye strain because it is the biggest modern obstacle to achieving great night vision. Most of us spend our entire day looking at screens that emit artificial blue light, which tricks the brain into thinking it is noon, even when it is actually midnight. This constant exposure to blue light wears out your lutein and zeaxanthin stores at an accelerated rate because they are working overtime to filter out the artificial glare. By the time you step outside into the dark to walk to your car or walk your dog, your eyes are already nutritionally exhausted. This is why it is so important to replenish these nutrients daily through your diet. Think of it like a bank account. If you are constantly withdrawing funds by looking at screens, you must make a large deposit of spinach, eggs, and fish to keep the balance positive. In my clinical experience, I've seen patients who followed this specific dietary protocol and reported significant improvements in their mesopic vision, which is the technical term for the vision we use in low-light settings. One patient in particular was a commercial truck driver who was worried he would have to give up his career because his night vision was failing. After 3 months of increasing his intake of leafy greens, sardines, and taking a bilberry extract, his clinical tests showed a marked increase in his contrast sensitivity and a faster dark adaptation time. He told me that for the first time in years, he felt like he could see the edges of the road clearly and no longer felt panicked when a car passed him with bright lights. This is the power of nutritional intervention when it is done correctly and consistently. To help you get started, I want to give you a simple daily framework that is easy to follow without feeling overwhelmed. For breakfast, I recommend 2 or 3 whole eggs cooked in a little bit of butter or olive oil, which gives you the zinc and the highly bioavailable lutein you need to start the day. For lunch, you can have a large salad with at least 2 cups of dark leafy greens like spinach or kale, topped with a piece of fatty fish like canned sardines or mackerel. This provides the structural fats and the protective pigments that will guard your eyes against the digital glare of your afternoon work. For dinner, you can rotate between a high-quality protein and a serving of beef liver once a week to ensure your vitamin A stores remain at peak levels. If you want a snack, a small handful of blueberries or a bilberry supplement can provide that extra boost of anthocyanins to help with your evening transition into the dark. It is also important to remember that these changes do not happen overnight because your body needs time to transport these nutrients into the tissues of the eye. While some people notice a difference in their glare recovery within a few weeks, the full structural benefits of the omega-3 fats and the macular pigments can take 3 to 6 months to reach their maximum potential. I encourage you to be patient and stay the course because the results are cumulative. Every time you choose an eye-healthy food over a processed snack, you are making a long-term investment in your ability to see the world with clarity and confidence. The National Eye Institute research has shown that consistent nutrition is one of the most effective ways to maintain eye health as we age, and it is never too late to start. I want to finish by saying that your vision is one of your most precious assets, and it deserves more than just a casual approach. We live in a world that is increasingly bright and demanding on our eyes, and the old advice about carrots simply is not enough to keep up with the modern environment. By focusing on these 5 specific foods, spinach and kale, fatty fish, bilberries, eggs, and beef liver, you are giving your eyes the specialized tools they need to perform at their best. You are protecting your retina from damage, speeding up your internal light processing chemistry, and ensuring that your visual signals are moving at the fastest possible speed. I am Dr. Samuel Cross, and I hope this clear and research-backed guide helps you achieve the 20/20 night vision you deserve so you can move through the world with ease and safety, no matter how dark it gets.